the next game we got here is the first game on Sunday, the Rams versus the Eagles. And I was really high on the Rams going to the Vikings game, picked them to win. I was hyping up the defensive line going in, and I'm picking the Rams again this week. I gotta go. I think I'm riding the hot hand. I like how they're matched up against Philly this week. Jalen Hurts is gonna have to show us this week that he's gonna throw in a big game to push them over the edge. And I think Matthew Stafford has proven that he can do that time and time again.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, how they say like styles make fights. And the Philadelphia Eagles' strength is going to be Saquon Barkley in that run game. But what is the Los Angeles Rams' strength? It is that defensive line, the ability to like not only stop the run, but also get after the quarterback. I mean, I think this is the perfect draw for this Rams team. I'm not gonna. I almost talked myself into it for the Vikings. I should have just kind of went for it, but just looking at what the Vikings had done, I'm like, okay, eventually they're gonna be that dominant team again. But we talked about it after. The Rams have all the buildings of a Super Bowl contender. They can go out there and they can put it on pretty much anybody on the NFC, and you'd be like, okay, yeah, I could see them winning that.
Were you the one that sent me that the Raiders potentially drafted the wrong Brian Young
Yes.
on the defensive line?
Yeah. They've drafted the wrong guy. That's hella Raiders. That's the Raiders move.
Because
Um,
in that draft, it was Brian Young, both defensive linemen, but they went in that same, like he went a couple picks later to the
they went
Rams.
3 picks later.
Oh wait, because they called
They
him
called, the Rams
Brian
Brian
Young on the.
Young. Yes. And then they took the Alabama Brian Young, and he was from, and it was the wrong guy. It was still a defensive lineman. I think they just got confused.
And they cut him.
Yeah. Third round pick. Done.
So what could have been for the Raiders? I mean,
But the key to this game is going to be Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts cannot go out there and have a repeat performance of last week. He just can't, especially against this team. The Rams can get up and down the field. They can compete with anybody. They have Matthew Stafford is just the definition of an old school gunslinger. He will go out there and put it on any defense. And you have to look into yourself because, hey, you can't rely on Saquon Barkley because this is going to be a tough, gritty team he is going to be facing. You can't ask him to shoulder the entire load because if so, they're just going to load the box and stop him. You have to make plays yourself. Are you going to be able to do that? We didn't see it last week. Maybe another week off of the concussion, knocking that rust off, a little bit more chemistry with AJ Brown and the rest of this receiving core. We got to see it from the Eagles.
yeah, and on the Rams side, that offense with Puka is just winning in every matchup, and as long as he keeps on getting fed the ball, like Matthew Stafford has no problem throwing it to Puka 15 times in this game. But I think what you saw last week too, he will throw it to every tight end. He will throw it to Demarcus Robinson. He'll throw it to a lot of these other guys that aren't Cooper Kupp because bro is not really getting used anymore. But yeah, he will spread the ball around, and he won't really force it to Puka if it's not there, but it's usually there because Puka's that good.
Yeah, and I'm not going to even shit on this like Philadelphia Eagles defense because I really do think they've improved as the years gone on. I mean, realistically, we thought like it was going to be like the same old Eagles where they have no linebackers. Their secondary just kind of looks like it's lacking. No, honestly, they look a lot better. They made Jordan Love so uncomfortable in that game last week. I'm not really concerned about that, but I do think that Matthew Stafford and this Rams team is just more talented. And I mean, we know that just the way the NFL is, it does skew more towards offense. But if the Eagles can, create one turnover here, or hey, we got a critical stop and it's the fourth quarter and we have the ball. Like, I think that it's gonna be a very, very good game. I think Sunday is far superior to Saturday.
Yeah, and I'll say this, like, we're hyping up the Rams, but they've put up duds this year. Like, the offense can get stale. If Kyron Williams doesn't get going, it kind of, puts a halt to the flow of that offense. So that's going to be the key for them to get that run game solidified so it opens up the pass. And I mean, ever since the Eagles put in Cooper DeJean, that defense is different. The defense is really solid. And hopefully Slay is healthy for them. I know he was in and out of the last game. I saw Kobe Dean was hurt. I don't know. I'll have to look at the injury report, but they do have a lot of guys. Like, they have a ton of talent on that side of the ball.
Yeah, big time. Again, big shot. I mean, that's one thing that the Eagles did this past offseason. They told him, Nick Sirianni, who do you want to work with? Like, we need a list of coaches that you will work with. And he went out there and he delivered. His coaching staff looks good. It feels like the team is revitalized and kind of rebought in. And I mean, there's a lot of guys on this team that are just either high character or high talent guys, and you need a perfect mix of both of them. And it seems like it's everything's clicking for this Eagles team right now. The one question mark is just going to be Jalen Hurts. Is he 100% back? If so, then this team can roll.